Yo, what's going on, YouTube? And welcome back to Goal Line Hockey. It's your boy Kevin Forte, and we are taking a look today at the latest news around the NHL. And right now, we have some stuff international. So, of course, you guys know a little bit about this, but I just want to go over a timeline of what has happened since the Russian invasion of Ukraine, how that's affected the NHL, how it's affected hockey in general. We have a lot of stuff to talk about today. This is going to be a long one, so make sure you grab a snack. You have preferably an Arnold Palmer or a Snapple or something to get you through the rest of this video. So let's start off with the World Junior stuff and all of the international tournaments, the IHF, how they have handled this situation. So the first one was from the IHF is expected to make significant decisions tomorrow that will impact Russia's participation in international events. And that was from Darren Drager. And this was very early on. This was right as this stuff was starting to happen over in Ukraine. As we kind of got further along, there was wide support to remove Russia from the 2022 and 2023 World Junior Championships. And that was from Gord Miller. So now we're starting to see things, what people's thoughts were on if they should keep them in the tournament or not. As you guys remember, the one up in Alberta, they're going to be doing it again this summer, which I think hopefully they'll be more prepared for. Unfortunately, though, as things would turn out, we aren't going to see Russia in there. And this is from Darren Drager. Russia and Belarus have been banned from the international play through August of 2022. Russia will not be participating in the World Junior Championships by the World Junior Championships by the looks of it. This also means Russia and Belarus will not participate in the World Junior Championships this year for 2022. From Darren Drager, the 2023 World Junior Championship tournament will no longer be held in Russia, and that is for next year. The plan was to have it in Russia. And since then, now the World Junior Championship has decided that that will not happen. And the host country is still to be determined. So we do not know where it will be held. Now going back over to North America, going back to the West. This is from Jeff Merrick. The Canadian Hockey League, also known as the CHL, which has all your junior teams, the WHL, the OHL, the QMJHL. The Canadian Hockey League may ban Russian and Belarusian players from entering the import draft. The CHL will hold an executive call this was a couple weeks ago, on Wednesday, to discuss the Russian situation. There's some speculation that the CHL may ban Russian and Belarusian players from entering the import draft, but there has been nothing decided yet. And this is all kind of building up to what we're getting to at this point. So now this is from Hockey Canada. Hockey Canada has banned Russia and Belarus from non-IHF competitions that are held in Canada indefinitely. So now we're starting to see stuff over in the West in terms of affecting what Russia can do in international tournaments and pretty much being banned from the tournaments. This is from the Russian HF. The Russian Hockey Federation says that the IHF ban is discriminatory, and they disagree with the decision. So, again, I don't want to get into the politics of this. I don't want to talk about what I think of Russia, Ukraine, Belarus, whatever. The funny thing is, and listen, I have my thoughts about Canada in general. I'm sure my Canadian fans here will not be too happy with what I have to say here, but just hear me out. It's funny how if there's questionable things in terms of what certain countries think, as long as you are in line with what they think, even though it's considered controversial, it's okay. Except when it's controversial and it's not what you agree with, then you're not okay with it. That's the part of it that I'm not saying I'm here, secretly waving the Russian flag or anything, but I just don't understand. It's okay. It's a one-way street. It's okay to be, have your thoughts if it's one way, and you're not allowed if it's the other way. And they're seeing that all across Canada. We're seeing that all across the West. So I don't think this is too big of a surprise that they're kind of deciding, oh, well, we're going to put things against you where you cannot participate. And that's not really fair. You think that these Russian players are the ones, unfortunately, they may be the ones fighting, and do you think they're the ones that declared war? Again, you're putting the responsibility and the really, you got to think. There's Russian kids right now, 16, 17, that probably want to come over to North America, play in the NHL, at the very least the American Hockey League, to get out of Russia. And I'm not saying they all want to do that, but if they want to, they don't even have that option now. Is that fair? I don't really think so, right? So, just something to look at there. Again, it's the hypocrisy, and that's what bothers me with this whole thing. Now, this is from Chris Johnson. Sources say some foreign KHL players are terminating contracts, wanting to leave Russia, including guys like Shane Prince, Jeff Plott, Nick Shore. One agent said a client stored his money in rubles and has basically seen it fall by half. And that is part of the situation here. So, if you're going to be in Russia, you have to convert your money. Unfortunately, the Russian dollar, which is rubles, has completely tanked. It's worth less than a penny, apparently, a U.S. penny. So, again, we're just seeing everybody start to take to the form here and kind of go against Russia, seeing them as like some sort of bad, evil guy. Now, this is from NHL 22. Yes, the hockey game even got involved. EA Sports will be removing the Russian and Belarusian hockey and club teams from NHL 22 following their suspension by the IHF. I think that's more of their agreement with the IHF and the World Junior Championships. Interesting how that was such a big deal, though, that they were applauded for taking those teams out. Okay. At 3 p.m. Eastern, the Canadian Junior Hockey League, the CHL, will announce that Russian and Belarusian 16 and 17-year-old children would be banned from the upcoming draft, the Canadian Hockey League draft. So that's the import draft, coming from Russia or Belarusian over to the States or Canada. I'm Ukrainian born and want peace. I do not believe banning teenagers for something they do not control is the answer. And again, this is just more of the narrative creating that, saying that everybody that's Russian is bad, saying, we're talking about, we're trying to get rid of racism, right? And then here we are doing this. We're banning any Russian player that wants to come to Canada to maybe play in the NHL. You are taking that opportunity away from them. Is that fair? Let's be honest here. That is not fair. Come on. You cannot tell me that's fair. But again, they're going to support race. There's racism everywhere for all the other different people that are in Canada and the States. Again, just showing you the hypocrisy. And some of you may not like this. I understand that. But it's ridiculous. It is kind of nuts. Now, just to feed more into it, this is from the Jets Public Relations. The Winnipeg Jets will play the Ukrainian national anthem at tomorrow's game. Okay, that's fine. That's great. But again, it's like, so it's okay to take one side of it, but if they were to play the Russian national anthem, people would be up in arms, right? Again, it's only okay if you're aligning with what you align with. And that is the problem with our society in general today. And it's just so frustrating. Again, kind of following that up, the Capitals are officially banning any Russian signs and flags at home games. And this is kind of leading to the States now and the NHL. We're getting closer to how this has affected the NHL. We already talked about World Juniors. We already talked about the IHF. Banning the Russian and Belarusian teams for the next 2 years. Getting rid of the import draft, basically, for Russian players that are 16, 17 years old. And then now we're seeing this in NHL arenas in the States and in Canada. Now, the reason that the Capitals in particular did this is because we know that there is a strong Russian influence on the Capitals. You look at the number of guys on Washington that are Russian. Dmitry Orlov on defense. Evgeny Kuznetsov. Obviously, Alexander Ovechkin. Ilya Samsonov. You go down the list. There's a lot of Russian influence on the Capitals. And they've been taking some heat from the fans. And I'll get to that in a second. So masks are no longer required for games, but you are not allowed to bring certain flags into the game. Again, to some extent, taking away free speech. And again, we could go down another path for that. But this is the kind of stuff that just, it's ridiculous. Now, going back to those 16, 17-year-old kids, right? They can't go into the import draft to go into the Canadian Hockey League. Well, now there's opportunities being taken away from your very favorite, NHL players. So this is from CCM Hockey. CCM Hockey will stop using Alex Ovechkin and other Russian players in global marketing. And this was the quote from CCM. Although Mr. Ovechkin is not responsible for the Russian government's actions, we took the decision to not use him or any Russian player on any global CCM communication at this point. And that is from CCM Hockey Chief Executive Marino Nabi. I don't know how to pronounce that. So that's not racist. So you're taking an entire group of people. Again, this is but then next month we'll promote equality for racism and ending racism. Like, again, come on. It's so ridiculous where we're at right now, and it's so frustrating, and I don't know. I'm at a loss for words. I really don't know what to say. And I'm sure I'm going to have met plenty of you that I might even turn off the comments for this video, because I think both ways you guys are either very strong one way or the other. But so now it gets better. So now this is from David Pagnotta. Some NHL teams are upping their security after Russian players received death threats in their DMs. Yes, like going that distance. Russian agent Dan Milstein says there have been serious threats to his Russian-based clients both in real life and on social media. Again, so the same people that will be saying anti-racism probably 2 or 3 months ago and 2 or 3 months from now are the ones sending death threats probably to these Russian players. Again, mind-blowing, guys. Mind-blowing. So, now we have more. This is down in Carolina. It's not just the Capitals. So this is from Jordan Martinuk on the situation with Andrei Svechnikov potentially facing hate due to his Russian situation. If anybody tries to make him feel bad about the situation, then he's got 23 brothers in there that'll stick up for him. So that's a nice little thing. Again, it's more just kind of going back on it a little bit. And now it's gotten to the point where the NHL, yes, the NHL now cuts all ties to Russian-based KHL. This is from Puck Report NHL. Breaking. The NHL has cut all ties and communication with the Continental Hockey League, also known as the KHL, and has asked teams to stop dealing with KHL teams or agents who do business in Russia, according to a memo sent out to the NHL GMs today. And this is from Frank Saravelli. The league will, quote, continue to respect all existing and future contracts, end quote, when it comes to signing Russian players, but will not be able to vary the information directly, complicating the process. NHL clubs remain free to communicate with their Russian prospects or North American agents that represent them. Again, so I'm not saying that this is right or wrong, but it's to the point where it's like, what about and I'm not saying this is anything against the Ukrainian people either, but it's like everybody's just on board with Russia being bad. And I'm not saying that they're good. Maybe I don't care because I'm too far away and I don't have people in Ukraine, but I don't understand this whole thing. Now, not only do guys like Ovechkin, Panarin, Kovalchuk, all those guys that have played in the NHL before in the States, not only do they have to worry about their family back at home in Russia, in Europe, and now they have to worry about death threats at a hockey game that they're at. It's mind-blowing, guys, and I don't know where it's going to stop. I don't really think it's going to get better anytime really soon, but the fact that the NHL is going this distance, again, and like I said, I will tell you by the end of the year, the NHL will support anti-racism, except if you're Russian, except if you're this. If you don't agree with us, no, we cannot allow that. I think that's ridiculous. So let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. Guys, if it does get bad, though, I am going to turn off the comments for this one. But I do want to give you guys the information because I think this is getting to the point now where we really need to figure out what's next. And unfortunately, it doesn't look good for Russian players. I do want to give, I hate to say like my condolences, but like these young guys in Russia and Belarus. I mean, we're talking about a guy that could be a top 5 draft pick in the 2023 NHL draft, Matvei Michev. I've been talking about him for 2 years now. This kid is really, really talented. And now he's probably not going to get the chance to play any international tournaments, to get any recognition, and it's probably going to hurt his draft stock. And it's just a shame because he's Russian. It just blows my mind how we talk about how we're progressing and we're not going to be racist and this and that, except if you don't agree with us. And I think that is just utterly ridiculous. So guys, let me know what you think. As always, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you again next time.